Welcome to the Dance to Heal podcast. I'm your host, Jenny C. Cohen. Join me as I share stories of how life is a dance. I'm a cancer survivor, mother of two, and an award-winning performer who found that mind and body connected movement is vital to healing in a way that is safe and tailored to your life. I created Dance to Heal Wellness featuring the Spotlight Confidence Formula and also authored the best-selling award-winning book, Outside In Recovery, Dancing My Way Back to Myself After Breast Cancer. I will bring new ways to help you on your dance journey and healing path. Are you ready to move? Dance to Heal starts now. Hello, my wonderful audience. Welcome to the Dance to Heal podcast. I'm your host, Jenny C. Cohen. We want you to remember that life is a dance. Today's exceptional guest, Mya Moon, is someone that I know you really need to hear from today. Take stock of this. Take a breath in for a moment for me, please, and be ready to be enriched by a person who just blows my mind every time I have a conversation with her. Welcome, Mya.
Hi, Jenny. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you for being here. So, can you just explain to my audience, because some of us are actually very, very new to, first of all, there's two things I want to ask you to answer in any order you prefer. One, what is a Tantric priestess? Because that's in the description of what you do. Most people know what a somatic energy healer is, but what is a Tantric priestess and how do you define intimacy? Both of those questions.
Oh, I mean, these are both so loaded. Oh my goodness. So, yeah, to just begin describing who I am and where the title comes from. So, Tantra is a lifestyle or a philosophy. It's not a religion or an ideology, nothing to achieve. It's really a way of being. And the way I would describe Tantra, one of my teachers told me if you were to bring 100 Tantra masters together and ask them, what is Tantra? You will get 100 different answers because ultimately, Tantra is the union of everything. So there's no such thing as right or wrong or, good or bad. It's the acceptance of all, and all is divine, and everything is sacred. So, Tantra is being so present to every single moment with all of your senses wide open, from your eyes to touch to taste. And so, with the term tantric priestess, this was actually given to me as someone who fully embodies this expression of the feminine aspect of Tantra. And in the West, it has been co-opted to be so connected to sexuality. And when people work with me, they're assuming there's going to be these sexual elements. They assume there's going to be like a physical sexual element. But once clients work with me, they realize, oh, it is a level of deep intimacy in which I am activating the energy of your sexual center. And that is the foundation of your life force. It's the foundation of your intuition, your creativity. It is the root of who you are. It's the safety of being in your body. So the priestess aspect is ultimately the fact that I was chosen to be able to offer this gift. And then leading to your question of then what is intimacy? Ah, gosh, this is a beautiful thing that I love about Tantra is that there is one truth, but there are multiple truths that exist within this truth. So a truth can also become a lie, or my truth may not be your truth. But truth also encompasses the light and the shadow. So intimacy is so well rounded. And what I have found that a lot of people also assume intimacy just leads to sex or this like emotional exposure of themselves. But really, what intimacy is presence meeting presence. And when we go through the layers, there are different aspects of it. There's psychological intimacy, there's spiritual intimacy, and then there's somatic intimacy, which can include sexuality. So, in terms of somatic intimacy, our culture has really lost the sense of touching and safety. I remember Hilary Duff, there was an image of her kissing on the lips her like 3-year-old son. And the world freaked out just talking about how inappropriate it was. And it literally, like, I'm like tearing up right now just thinking about it. It literally broke my heart because I'm like, wow, how can the purity of a mother loving her son be taken so out of context and having a child deprived of intimacy? So I have this passion to redefine what intimacy actually means and be able to separate it from sensuality and sexuality and allow people to get back into just reconnecting at the heart of the purity of just love.
That's so beautiful. That's just a thesis talk right there. I
Mhm.
so audience members, I want you to understand why I we're so blessed to have Maya in our space. My audio clients, please go to YouTube and see how Maya kind of emanates the energy of what we all really want in our lives, where someone truly sees you. She sent me a very detailed email, so full disclosure, the only client of mine or my guest who's ever spent so much time, like she claims it's just a download, so it wasn't work. However, I'm a mom and I understand there's actually energy in typing. She gave me a very thorough outline of her download about what she needs to bring to us today. And the specific words I want to make sure I really share with you, audience, because Maya's the real deal, okay? She's like, we really struggle with this thing, but we really name it. And these are the words she typed to me: the hurt of not truly being seen, and the fear of being fully known.
Oof. Thank
I'll
you
give
for
them.
repeating that. I'm getting chills.
The two of us are like, oh, chills. I feel
Mhm.
really intimate with you, audience, and with Maya right now because that's all we ever really want. And I want that for you. So pay attention, pull up a chair. Remember, if you miss any parts of it, you can come back to this episode. You may need to hear a few times before you let your guard down. That's one. And the other thing is Maya on Instagram is under Sacred Mya Moon. So SACRED MYAMOON. You can find her there, or we'll have put her link tree link in the description of this episode. You can go to that. So anything she has available, you can get in touch with her. She's open to anyone DMing her. Just say that you saw her on the Dance to Heal episode. And we're going to get into this topic, but just be aware, right, that she has gifts and tools for you to access. Back to the topic of at hand. Here's the thing: most of us had parents that didn't know how to really teach us about that level of intimacy, Maya. Really, truly, there are very few of us that were born to parents that had the IKEA instructions on how to raise us because everyone's individual and what they need. So what does that mean to the first steps for someone to be able to one acknowledge the hurt of not truly being seen,
Ugh.
so that they can maybe start to overcome the fear of being fully seen, because we all have needs that we might be afraid to talk about or have inability to say no to other people, because it's kind of like both sides of the same coin.
Well, I just want to get so real with you. Like, gosh, this topic, I'm so emotional, Jenny. Like, wow, you are really just opening me up. So, I want to share that my father never told me I love you throughout my entire life. And I remember uh, because I had this struggle with him, there was always just this disconnect, right? I just honestly just thought like my father just hates me. Like I truly believed that. And I was in Michigan at this time, and he was in San Diego, and apparently he was hospitalized for 3 weeks. And nobody told me he was dying, and I never knew. And I received a message to just call him. I never call my father, by the way, but I received a message to call him. And I called him and he sounded terrible. He was clearly on his deathbed, but I had no idea. And so he was like rushing me off. And I thought it was strange. But when we got off, I was like, oh, that was a confirmation. It's like, why did I even call him? I later found out from my sister, who became really upset with me, that I didn't know he was in the hospital and that I've been this ungrateful daughter, assuming that he doesn't love me. In the 3 weeks he was in the hospital, he never picked up the phone call from my mother and my two sisters who took care of him. I was the single only person that he picked up the phone from. And he had COVID and he was at 51% oxygen. So the reason why he couldn't speak and he sounded off is because he actually couldn't speak. And my sister said to me, how can you not think that he loves you? Whew. And so the intention of sharing this is that love is so there. It's such a human, natural emotion that we all have and carry. But to offer that to someone is so challenging. And that's the aspect of the fully being like known. Like for him to fully be known, for this person to give love, it's almost this element of like weakness and such a vulnerability. It's like, what do you do with it? It's so uncomfortable to be known for the purest emotion and expression because the space hasn't been provided specifically for men. Like the biggest lie a mother can tell her son is that boys don't cry and to suppress their emotions. And it's in the purity of these emotions that create intimacy. And so to not fully be seen. So for myself in this story, like the hurt, when I felt that my father never really saw me, to not be seen in his eyes, it just created all of these wounds of constantly seeking validation from other men, constantly trying to be seen. But the parts of me that were trying to be seen were the parts that I'm thinking that other people want to see me as. So as I was getting approval for this perfect thing that is seen, I had no idea who I was. I was abandoning myself the entire time. And that's really where the pain and suffering comes from, and the inner conflict. It's this desperate desire to being seen, but not even knowing what parts of ourselves to show.
Oh, yes, all of that. Take a moment, my wonderful audience, just let that seep through your skin, because oftentimes we think we have to take responsibility for something we didn't receive as children, like we're responsible for it somehow. And we're actually supposed to, in our healing, let go of that, because that's really the key to your freedom, is to let go of that. For me, I had a similar childhood, Maya, where my parents, being Asian parents, never expressed I love you. If you were to look at their acts of service, it was always I was the center of their being. I never heard it. It was never physically demonstrated through hugs. It was all through acts of service that were really removed from my understanding as a child, right? And if we were to go back to when our parents or whoever took care of us were children, most likely they didn't get what they needed either.
Mm.
And so, as a 57-year-old now, I can go back and think about my childhood and go, wow, you had great parents. But back then, that young me who had no support whatsoever, if you were to think about it in today's terms of what children need, it's like a miracle I'm still here. It's like there's a bigger power than your parents that kept you around to today, to this moment of you listening to this podcast or watching this on YouTube. There's a higher power that you're supposed to be doing something, that you took lessons from these experiences so you're stronger for it. Because oftentimes I remember in my recovery, people saying, like mentors or coaches saying, well, what you're suffering from right now is because you're choosing to be in the pain. That pissed me off, Maya.
Like, really? Like I really want this.
And it's just, it took me a while to acknowledge, wait a minute. Oh, what you're saying is the now me can actually give myself permission to let go of the pain and heal. To know what yes and no is. When I was a child, we couldn't say yes and no. There was no choice, right? We didn't have. There are some Asian parents now who actually let their children play. Like my child parents are like, how do they know? Is this a magical genie that came into the Asian culture and told the parents let the child play? Because back in my day, or any stricter cultures, children didn't play. They had to learn from a very early age or be of use. Like you had to be serving for safety. Right? And part of it that is to give yourself permission as the present now, that to play is also to learn. Because one of the things that you emailed me about was, understanding what your personal yes and no is. You call it the sacred yes and the sacred no. I think it's really important because a lot of us are, especially if you were raised in a family, whether you're male or female, sometimes it's mostly female, like, you're not allowed to say no. Right? No doesn't exist in your vocabulary. Like you're supposed to say yes to everything. How can I help you? Type of thing.
Be subservient. Yeah. Yeah. So before I go into the yeses and the nos, because yes, like our culture has never asked us, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like, what do you actually want to be? Not from this list of like, you can choose from lawyer or doctor or astronaut. It's like, what do you actually want to be? And how can we cultivate the natural gift that you have? And how can you start practicing your throat chakra and using your voice to create your own safety and protection? But one thing that you said in this before I go there is that intimacy with others begins with intimacy with yourself. And throughout my entire life.
Thanks for listening to the Dance to Heal podcast with Jenny C. Cohen. Come back next time to hear stories of inspiring triumph and learn more ways that you can heal yourself. To work with me and continue your journey, visit danceandheal.com. Are you ready to move?